What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your man Chaz Ellis again with another Ratchet News Report. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that the new Straight Outta Compton movie came out and it has been killing the box office. It made $60 million plus in its first weekend. So it's really been killing the box office. Everybody's been talking about it. They got little memes and stuff on their Facebook talking about straight out of, you know, straight out of New Jersey, straight out of freaking Ohio, straight out of Tennessee, straight out of Bangladesh. I don't know. They got all kind of stuff on Facebook and everything. But anyway, it's been huge. But a few people were upset because they felt certain things were omitted from the Straight Outta Compton story. Namely, Dr. Dre's alleged abuse of women. There were women like Michelle A. and Dee Barnes and some other chicks that came out and said, hey, you know, N.W.A. used to smack up these women and disrespect us, and we feel like, you know, this should have been in the movie, and we feel like we were left out, and, you know, we feel disrespected by that. Well, I understand that that if they were beaten up by Dr. Dre or any other member of N.W.A., I understand they're probably upset about that, and I get where they could, you know, have some animosity towards that in the situation, and really, my deepest sympathies don't go out to anybody who's been abused in any way, whether it's a man, woman, child, person, anyway. But I do have to say this. The reality is the casual fan just doesn't care, and that's why that was left out of the movie, because nobody would have cared. The same way that DJ Yella and MC Ren's storylines were pretty much like 2 seconds long. Nobody cared about those dudes, so the casual fan doesn't care about those dudes, so they didn't make it into the movie. Also, you have to understand what you're talking about and who you're talking about. You're talking about N.W.A. You're talking about F the Police. You're talking about Straight Outta Compton. You're talking about I'm smacking hoes. I'm shooting people. I'm selling drugs. If you step up, I'll pull your card. I'm gonna jack you, pull you out of your car, and all this kind of stuff, and rob you. This is what these people talk about. So you then expect people, but when you glorify this and you become a part of this type of a culture, then you expect somebody to feel bad for you that you got smacked around by these kind of guys? How can we listen to the music and condone the other behavior, then care about your situation? That's crazy. So you just talked about shooting somebody in the back of the head over a drug deal, and we're supposed to feel bad for the girl you slapped? If we can accept that you shooting people in the back of the head over drug deals, then clearly we're going to be able to accept you smacking a girl. We're going to be able to accept all kinds of other stuff, right? Because that's part of the culture. Now, if you wasn't going to be part of the culture and you wasn't, messing with N.W.A., you say, hey, I'm against all of this music, I'm against this type of thought process, then that would be different. But since you have been a part of the thought process, and the people who are watching the movie, I guess including myself, people who are watching the movie and the people who listen to N.W.A., clearly we can't say anything. I'd be a hypocrite if I was to say, oh, I ain't messing with Dr. Dre no more because he smacked Dee Barnes and Michelle A. and all these other people. I was listening to the music that was saying that. I was listening to the music that was talking about drug dealing and killing people just like everybody else was. Don't try to act like you wasn't listening to it. Some of y'all had to be. It wouldn't have been selling that many albums, but some of y'all wasn't listening to it. So we were listening to the music. We were enjoying the music. So for that reason, it's not like we could jump on these people for doing what they said they were doing in the music. We liked it when we heard it, so we can't trip now. That's why it wasn't in the movie, because nobody would have cared. And that's just the reality of it. Also, you have to understand that you're just not a big part of the story. I know that what happened to you was a tragedy and maybe you live your whole life thinking about it, but the reality is those people probably don't live their whole life thinking about it. They probably haven't thought about you too, even though like Dr. Dre and Michelle A have a baby together. But the reality is that the core, the whole group, the N.W.A. group, because it wasn't the Dre movie, it's the N.W.A. movie. So you have to be significant enough to the entire story of N.W.A. for anybody to care about what happened to you and what happened in your situation with Dr. Dre. And you just aren't. A movie can only be so long, so only so many things are going to be able to make it into the movie. And to create a storyline for you so you could talk about what happened to you would just take too long. And I also want to say this, before I close this whole thing out, is that a lot of people like to pick and choose what gets talked about in terms of their own life also. It's like, yeah, talk about me getting beat, Michelle A especially. Talk about me getting beat because that makes you look bad. But everybody say you was messing with Tupac and Suge. We ain't talking about that though. If they'd have put that in the movie, you probably would have tried to sue them. So let's just be real. You know, you want to be in the movie how you want to be in it, but you don't want your whole life exposed. So they didn't want their whole lives exposed. They just wanted to put what they wanted to put in there. Make your own movie and make it look the way you want it to. You know, that'd be my suggestion. Y'all put in the comment box below what you think about it. Should it have been in the movie? Should it have not been in the movie? You know, and what you thought about the movie in general. Once again, it's your man, Chaz Ellis. Peace.